Hello, hello. How are we on this fine, wonderful day? Hopefully we're doing quite well. Well, I throwed on a hat and said, hey, let's take the blah, blah, blah. Let's take the dogs for a walk, eh? Just got up here and always good to get out and move around yourself and put a little circulation into the old body. Get the old blood and heart pumping a little with a little walk. I always feel a whole lot better after I do that. Oh, anyway, I was sitting and thinking, and I thought, I take my videos and I don't really watch them or edit them. I just put them up there because there could be some embarrassing moments, right? Embarrassing moments that you don't really want anybody to see, that you can't see, that's happening. So, and I think it's funny, and if I knew how to do it without too much trouble, I'd put a laugh track in on the 1728 French infantry musket every time I laid it down on the table to go to shoot it. If you pay attention, you didn't notice the clay ball rolls right out of the end of the barrel and drops off onto the ground. So apparently if I walk up there, I'll find a little pile of clay balls laying where the end of that barrel was hanging down off of the table, right? Because apparently they were rolling out, and there's more than one that did that, and I was even goofing around. I wanted to see how close the clay balls would stay together when they were shot two at a time out of the barrel. And well, it's mighty funny. I got a kick out of it when I watched it. They just rolling out and dropping on the ground. So there you go, an embarrassing moment, right? He didn't edit it. He should have edited that out. He should have. Just keep the shots in there that are, really nice and professional and all that. And you don't have any of that silliness like the ball rolling out of the end of the barrel. Well, that didn't happen with the patch. That worked really good. So I'm gonna do another one, and I'd like to take that rifle, or I should say musket, since it's smooth in the inside, like a shotgun. I like to take that one, although it sounds like a rifle to me. I like to take it and use newspaper patches. Now, these patches and stuff, when you use them, different kinds, if you use newspaper, stuff like that, anything that's more flammable, you're gonna have to be on your toes more so you don't catch anything, you're not shooting around dry grass or anything like that. Make sure that you're safe and that prepared to take a fire extinguisher with you, man. Take a fire extinguisher, Mr. Ed. Well, yeah, you could do that. You could do that. My head must have swelled up because this hat used to fit pretty good, and now it's not wanting to go down over my head so well. So two things happened. One, the hat shrunk, and it's smaller than what it used to be. Or two, my head swelled up. Yep. Yeah, that's right. One of the two. There's the old pup sniffing around. Sniffing-y. Uh-huh. She ain't really running a lot, but she might take off and get some exercise. I know I've got some. So, but yeah, this hat, it almost don't fit my fat head. Almost don't. Right? How do I look? Am I a handsome gentleman? You look like an old goat. Oh, well, thanks a lot. All right. Oh, there's a big old chunk of wood here. I don't know if you can see it or not. Laying right there. It's been laying there for a long time. Long time. It's probably, I could go over and take my fingers and grab it and pull on it and pull a big chunk off of her. She's pretty dry rotted. But what she is willow. Willow makes a good charcoal for your homemade powder, but we tried some old dead rotten willow we was able to get, and it was, what was it? It was pretty dry. Pretty dry. Very dry. Very dry willow, huh? Very dry. Yes, it was. It did not make the best black powder. it was better than coconut shells, which I bought some rather expensive charcoal made with pure coconut shells for a special stove. Oh, I did. I thought that would work real well, but apparently it looks like, with the exception of rotten wood or dead trees that's cured pure out, you're going to need something that has a little fuel to it. I would say that the charcoal that is charcoal out of fresh wood, and everybody seems to be in favor of the buckthorn, which I didn't know if we got in that kind of stuff. I'd have to look at one of them trees and look it up, see what the heck they look like. But I think putting it in the kettle, making your charcoal, I think there's a certain amount of greenness that it needs to be charcoal, so it has a bit of snap to it. Like, you know, it's not completely dried out and broken down. It's still got a little bit of snap to it, where it, you know how a fire crackles and pops when you're burning wood. It sits there and you'll hear it crackle and pop and snap. And I think, well, more than likely, that's an energy release from the wood, so it crackles and pops as it burns. So I'm going to say, I think green wood crackles and pops pretty good, huh? And I'm going to say charcoal wood that was alive is going to have a little more snap to it. You throw some old dead wood that's cured wood into your stove, and it burns up. That's about the end of it, right? It just burns up. But if you put some green wood in there, you get snap, will crack, and pop in your fire. Even some of the sparks from the wood, as it burns and heats up, will jump right out of the fireplace at you. Boo-ah! Right out at you. There comes a big old spark. If you got a rug in front of your stove or whatever, or your fireplace, it's like, oh crap, you know. So that's not good. That's why they got screens on them old fireplaces, see? That's how they did it back in the old days, huh? Yeah, that's the way they did it. But yes, I will tell you that that's what I think. I think you need that certain amount of greenness in that wood to get that crackling and pop in your charcoal. And then when it gets mixed for the old black powder, I think you get a more crackle pop out of it. I did watch some ball milling and some stuff like that on the old YouTube channels, and I noticed something that I'd forgotten about. And when I got done with them, if you look at them, the powder, technically, it's not really blacky black. It was had more of a gray color to it. So that tells you that a lot of your potassium nitrate is on the outside of the powder. So anyway, needless to say, mine that last I made, it too looked just like that. But in this last batch I did, which I call the cake mix batter, looks like a cake. It is really, really black in color. So does that mean there's more charcoal on the outside of the crystal? I don't know. I think so if it's blacker. It's almost like the potassium nitrate is on the outside to a certain extent, creating a rather grayish color. And the cake mix stuff, it's more like the charcoal's on the outside. Charcoal and potassium nitrate, they don't like each other. They don't like each other, they don't! What makes you say that? Well, I say that because they're really hard to mix together. And I have an electric cake mixer, and I mixed and mixed and mixed. Yeah, with the blenders, and I blended it. And then what did I do after I blended it? It was a nice sloppy soup. And it was fairly thick. Well, I didn't do anything with it. I just set it over there by a dehumidifier, and then the dehumidifier went to work on it. and it got drier. And I used a blender on it as often as I could as it evaporated, see? I let it all evaporate is what I did. I got it really wet for mixing it. I didn't heat it or nothing, or cook it on a stove or nothing like that. I didn't know if that would have helped mix it better or not. There's a few different things you can do with that stuff, but I don't have any plans right now of making me any. But if I try to make some more, I will probably try a couple other different things with it and see how it goes. There's some really great recipes that some of the gentlemen on YouTube have put up on how to make it, and it's really good stuff. You follow their instructions, you'll be good to go. You won't have to worry about it not being able to do what it needs to do to let you enjoy black powder muzzle loading shooting without costing you an arm and a leg. You know, $42, $52 a pound. I know you get a lot of shots out of that, unless you're doing cannons and stuff like that, but just out of muzzle loaders you can use, you know, 60 grains or whatever. You can get a whole bunch of shots out of that. I don't know how many, but quite a few out of a pound of powder. Especially if you use the low, you don't use too much powder. Keep the grains low, you know. I know the 1860 some black powder pistols and stuff, I like to load those with 20 grains of powder. People use 15, people use 25. I usually do about 20 grains in those when I shoot them, which I haven't shot them for a long time. I put up one video shooting them one time, and that was about it, or two. So anyway, needless to say, about 20-25 grains. Now when it comes down to the pistols, you know, black powder pistols, I'm going to tell you, probably you can probably do the same thing, but for some reason I like to go with about 30 grains of powder, and sometimes 40. You know, when I use my measuring tube, it's probably closer to 40, I would say. But I'd say 30's a plenty. You know, if you're paying big money for powder, you want to conserve it as best you can. You don't want to waste it. I see people fill up their measuring thing, then scrape the top off on the ground. I'm like, oh my gosh. You know, that adds up after a while. Old Ed, he's a little bit on the conservative side, is trying to save his stuff so that he can have it for another day or enjoy himself even longer, you know, and not be wasting it or anything. Besides that, if a spark hits the ground, you do that too much, you got a big puddle of powder down there, you're liable to give yourself a hot foot. Right? Oh, yeah. Don't be the wasteful one. Waste not, want not, right? Aim small, miss small. Yeah. All right. And you can get her done. Get her done, man. Get her done. Yeah. That's right. So, took the dogs for a walk, and it really is a walk, because they ain't took off. Well, the old dog, I don't expect much out of him, but the young one, sometimes she needs some exercise. Kids, they don't do stuff that they're supposed to. There's those beautiful flowers again. Oh my goodness. Let me put those on film for the ladies. Look at those. Aren't they just beautiful? Very purplish. Looks like some kind of steep-beat hornet on there. I hate hornets, but they like me. They like to sting me and make me life miserable. They do. They certainly do. They'll come out of nowhere. I was sitting on the back porch minding my own business. Just minding my own business now, tell you. And I wasn't doing anything, just sitting there twiddling my thumbs, enjoying the beautiful, beautiful weather. Just like today, but I was sitting on the back porch. And all of a sudden, something flew in my mouth. And I was like, oh my gosh, and it felt like a grizzly bear or something was taking a pinch out of the inside of my cheek. I was like, oh, and I spit out a hornet. That thing had flew in my mouth, grabbed a hold of the inside of my cheek in my mouth on the left side and started drilling a hole, he did. And wow, I got him out of there, and I seen him go, and he went down and dropped in the between the swimming pool and the dirt wall down there and disappeared. So I got to looking, and sure enough, there's a hornet's nest right there in the wall of the pool. Oh my goodness. The kids will be stung, all right? Yes, they'll be swimming and they'll be getting nailed by them things. And that hurts. And when you got little kids, you know, you don't want that to happen to them. So I got to get rid of them hornets. So I took and went to Lowe's. And I got me some of that spray foam stuff in a can. Man, I can't remember what it's called. I might have told you this story before. I'm not sure. Nah, that's the way it goes. Anyway, I bought that, and in the middle of the night, around midnight, I snuck down there, and I filled the old hive with spray foam. They had two old hornets sitting at the entrance to the hive. One of them, he didn't make it too far. He got into flight, but I was able to step on him before he got anything done. Plus, it's nighttime, and they're extremely lethargic. And the other one, he got a little foam on him, so he was done for. So I filled it up with foam and never seen hide nor hair of them again. That was the end of that hive. So that is some really good stuff to get rid of your bees, your hornets. You know, we're not getting rid of honeybees. I don't pay no attention to them unless they're them bad aggressive ones. Then you might be in trouble. But most of the honeybees we got around here are extremely friendly. And we do spend a good amount of time, if we catch them in the swimming pool, floating around in the water, trying to figure out how they're going to get out. We'll take Did you hear that noise? You know what I'm going to say that is? Now, if this was the 1700s or something, I'll be getting worried, thinking, uh-oh, I'm in big trouble. But I'm going to say, and see if you know for sure or not, but I'm going to say that's an old squirrel over there. I don't know for sure. I'd have to say, let's look up on YouTube and see what squirrels sound like when they make noise. That's what I'd have to do to be sure. But that's what I'm thinking. It's an old squirrel. So anyway, well, this has gotten into a little bit of a long, windy yak session, hasn't it? My goodness, it certainly has. But well, what can I say? Let's try to go up the bank here without falling and busting our can. Oh, this hat's pretty warm on my head. It's making me head sweat. We're gonna walk up this way and around, and oh my, the swimming pool's got tons and tons of pollen on top of it and stuff. Everything coming off of this nasty old grass that we love to hate, right? So let's sign off with a ring-a-ding of the Independence Bell of 1776, eh? Why do you have to ring that? I hate that. I hate it. Well, oh, I'm sorry to hear that, but I did purchase it, and I do want me money's worth. So I ring it. That's what's going on. If you're going to get it, use it, right? There's so many things that we get that we don't even have time to use. So let's use that. Let's use this hat, right? Why'd you buy that hat? Well, I'm going to tell you why I bought this hat. And I'll tell you where I bought it at. I stopped in at the old Spirited Halloween store. And I only go in there to look at their hats because they got some pretty good ones and they're pretty well made. And I had a 20% off coupon of one purchase. One purchase, 20% off. So that's why I bought it. If it wasn't for the coupon being 20% off, I probably wouldn't have bought it. I think it was regular, where I was at, $24.99 for this wonderful Charles Dickens hat. So you can use it just to walk around and act silly, or you can also use it at Christmas time. If you want to go out Christmas caroling and singing Christmas songs, you got the right hat for it. And if you have a little baby rabbit somewhere, you can pull it out of your hat and amaze your grandchildren, right? So I'd like to do that. That'd be fun, but then I have to find a home for a little baby rabbit. But although the kids might say, "Oh, give it to me, Grandpa, give it to me," and they'd take her, right? All right. Well, 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 a deep subject, eh? A deep subject. Let me sign off of here so I can get into something more productive, like, I don't know, I'm getting kind of hungry. And I have an old quarter pounder in there with a synthetic foam bun. That's why it's so shiny. You look at your buns from McDonald's, your quarter pounders, and the buns are real shiny, like they've been polished with some kind of oil. Look like WD-40'd them or something, right? Yeah, what is it? They're telling me it's some kind of styrofoam, makes them shiny. You know, we want our food shiny if we're gonna eat it. We're like a bunch of old crows, you know. We dive in and steal the trinkets, gold, little gold things and all that stuff. Gotta make it all shiny. So, that's how she goes. So long, mates. Nice talking with you about the old Blackpowder and stuff. Hopefully, it was entertaining for you and you had a good time. If it entertained you, then it was well worth it. If not, I could have walked around and talked to myself and my arm wouldn't be numb from holding this selfie stick now, would it? But toodaloo, my friends, and have a great and wonderful day.